Hello and welcome to week number 2 of Gospel Piano Boot Camp. I want to thank you so much for joining me. This may be your second or first week, depending on when you signed up. But at any rate, I want to thank you for joining me, and I do apologize for the delay in us beginning. I had somewhat of a little technical issue that had to be resolved, but I believe we're on track now. So again, thank you so much for joining me. I have some wonderful things that I believe that I want to share with you today that I really believe is going to be helpful to you. If you would, I want you to notice now below your screen, you have a comment box. Now, what you can do is during the course of our live stream, you will be able to make comments as well as ask questions. And as I see your comments or your questions, I definitely we'll try to address those, so that way this time can be an interactive time. I want it to be as beneficial as possible to you. So I want you, if you would just let me know who's on the live stream right now. Just put your name and where you're located, possibly city and state, and that will let me know who's on live with me this evening. I want to know who I'm talking to. So if you would, before we get into our actual content and material that we're talking about this evening, if you would just let me know your name as well as where you're from. Okay, I'm going to wait just a few minutes for those comments to come in. But while those comments are coming in, I made a challenge. I challenged those of you all that were on the actual the stream on last week. I challenged you to play one of those 2 songs that we covered. Now, one of the songs was For God So Loved the World, and then the other one was Great Is Thy Faithfulness. Now, if you actually, I guess, stepped up and wanted to take that challenge, I really want you to send that link. I ask you to actually to record yourself playing that, to video record yourself playing that, and then upload it to YouTube, and then send me a link to the YouTube video and email it to me. Okay, that way I'll be able to see you playing it. Okay, and my email address is kennyhollins@yahoo.com, and that is spelled KENNYHOLLINS@yahoo.com. Okay, so and I really encourage you to do that, because I believe the more you participate, the more that it will definitely benefit you. Okay, all right, Leon Bailey from Kansas City, Missouri. Okay, all right, those of you all that are on the live stream, if you would put your name and where you're from. Welcome, Brother Leon. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate that. And so if you would put your name as well as where you're from. Okay. All right. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump into the content for this evening. And before we get started, I just always love to pray. I feel like that's a good way to start off. Okay. Father God, in Jesus' name, thank you for this opportunity and this time in which I have to share musical ideas and concepts and songs. And I pray right now that you would direct this time, that you would lead this time, that this time would be blessed, productive, and effective, and that everyone that's watching and listening will be benefited and would be assisted and helped to become a better musician. And we give you praises and call it done by faith in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Okay, well, we're going to jump into the content for week number 2. Now, this week, the way we're going to approach it is we're going to approach it similar to what we did on last week, where I demonstrated a particular song, and the song that I demonstrated, I basically dissected it and gave you the principles behind that song, or my thinking in terms of how I came up with that song. You know, one thing that I believe is very important is to learn new songs, learn new material, learn fresh things. But the other side of that is also understand the concepts behind learning those new things. Because when you learn those new things and you understand it, you can recreate it in different situations. Okay? It's an old saying that says, if you give a man a fish, then you'll feed him for a day. But if you teach him how to fish, you'll feed him for a lifetime. So what I want to do is not only just teach you songs, but I also want to give you the principles behind what it is that I'm doing to play those songs. That way, again, like I said, you can recreate it in different situations, and that's what we want to do. Now, I sent out 5 MIDI files on this past week. I'm going to send out 5 more this particular week, as well as a foundation video on chords. Okay, and you're going to get all of that this week along with our teaching for tonight. Okay, now the song that I'm going to use to demonstrate the concepts is the song "That's Why I Praise You," or "For Every Mountain" by Kurt Carr. Okay, and some of you all may already know that song, but I'm gonna try to give you some different chords and voicings and movements, and then explain to you how I came up with those. Okay, all right, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the song. So what I'm gonna do first is demonstrate the song, and then I'll go back and break it down for you, teach you how to play it, as well as break down the concepts behind it. And welcome Sam from Washington, D.C. All right, good to hear from you. All right, now here we go. "For Every Mountain" by Kurt Carr. Okay, so that was For Every Mountain by Kurt Carr. Now, the song actually modulates a couple of more times, but just for the sake of time, I just cut it short, okay? But I will show you those other keys as well. And for the sake of you being able to see it clearly, I'm going to make just a little adjustment right here very quickly. I want you to be able to see everything that I'm doing. Make a real quick adjustment here. Now, if you all have any questions, or if there's anything that I did that you want me to elaborate on, feel free to ask those questions. And in the course of us going over the song, I definitely will try to address that for you, okay? All right. Welcome, Daniel from Nigeria, Cheryl from St. Louis, Stephen from Indianapolis. Welcome. Thank you all so much for joining me. Okay. All right. Now let's jump in. Let's jump into this particular song. Now, I'm going to teach you the whole song, as well as I'm going to send you a MIDI file on this as well, so that way you'll have the opportunity to learn it both ways, okay? Now, I started off with, if you're not familiar with the song actually starts off with a lead vocal singing what you would call rubato style. And rubato is basically when you play to no tempo. So it's real free, it's real loose, and the piano player is just basically following the lead vocalist, okay? And so that's what I did starting off, okay? I've got so much to thank God for. Okay, now we started with a D minor 7 chord. And I want you to notice all of the little things that I'm doing to try to create the sound that I'm going for, okay? Now this is a D minor 7 chord. Now, one thing you always can do is build a foundation for your chords. Build a foundation. You want a nice warm chord. You want a chord that's full and rich. You don't want it muddy, but you want a nice warm and rich chord. And one way that I achieve that I try to achieve that is what I do with my left hand. Okay? Now, I talked about this on last week, where you can do a 1, 5, 10, okay? Now 1, 5, 10 in the key of D would actually be this. Okay, D, A, F sharp, which would be the first, the fifth, and the 10th note of the D major scale. But we're playing an D minor chord, so of course we want to take this F sharp, which is actually similar to the 3rd. But since it's up here, we're going to call it the 10th. And of course, bring that down 1/2 step to make that a minor 3rd, which now makes it a minor chord, okay? So we have the root, the 5th, and the minor 10th or the flat 10, okay? And that's something that you can do with your left hand to add a nice foundation to any type of minor chord that you want to play. Whether it's a minor chord, minor 7, minor 9, minor 11. And you can have this nice bottom under any of that, and it gives you a nice foundation. So that's one thing that will be good to practice on, is to take your minor chords and do that in every key, okay? Now, one thing that I encourage you to do, and this kind of deals with being able to play in every key. One thing you want to be able to do is to play in all 12 keys. Anything that you know, you really want to, for the most part, be able to play it in all 12 keys. And one way to do that is to approach your practicing from a balanced standpoint. And what I mean by that is, when you learn one thing in one key, try to see if you can learn it in every key. So what I try to do is practice in what I call patterns. okay, or in circles or cycles. That way I know that I'm evenly addressing each key. So I would take this movement here, and I'm doing this with my left hand, and I would see if I could do it in each key, okay? So one of the easiest ways to approach it is to try to do it in half steps. So we're going to start on the D, and then we're going to go up a half step to E flat. All right, so the root 5, flat 10 or minor 10th, and then we go up again, and then that's E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B natural, C natural, and then D flat or C sharp, and then back to where we started. Okay, so I practice it in every key. All right, now you also want to start to get to the place where you start incorporating things with your right hand as well. And then you can keep moving like that. So what it's doing is it's getting you used to doing that while adding things with your right hand too, okay? So that's just a good way to approach your practicing from a balanced standpoint, okay? All right, let's get back to the song. So we start off with this D minor 7 chord, which is D, A, F, and then the right hand is A, C, D, F, A. Okay, so this is how I'm approaching my first chord, or the D minor 7. And then we go here. Okay, notice how I'm kind of rolling the chord. Okay, starting from left to right. I'm just doing it quickly. Okay, and this is simply G minor 7, where I'm playing G, D, F. Left hand, right hand is B flat, D, F, B flat. And then, all right, this is C suspended 9th, where I'm playing a C and a G. With the left hand, it adds a nice little bottom to my chord. And then with my right hand, I'm playing F, G, B flat, D, and then G on the top. With that on the bottom with the left hand. Okay. And then we go here. Left hand stays the same on the C and G, and then the right hand moves to G, D, and E. Okay. We go here. Now I like to alter that chord a little bit right there. Now the actual real chord is this, okay, which is an E minor 7 flat 5 chord, okay. This would be E minor 7, and then if I flatten the B natural, it would be this here, E minor 7 flat 5, okay. Now the singer is singing an A, which is actually the 11th of the chord. Okay, what I like to do is, along with this, throw in a 9. Okay, so what will be the 9th of E? Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which would be the F sharp. Okay, so the melody note, which is the 11th of the chord, and then the 9, which is the F sharp, along with this. This is what we come up with. Okay, real colorful, dissonant chord. Okay, so she's singing, I've got so much to thank God for. She goes to that part. So many wonderful blessings. And okay, and this is the chord that I'm playing. Okay, those are the notes, but the voicing that I'm using is this. right, so let me break it down for you, the actual voicing that I'm playing. I'm playing E, natural, and D. Okay, that's with my left hand. And then with my right hand, I'm playing G, B flat, D natural, G flat, and A natural. Okay, so that's a pretty big stretch with the right hand. Now, if that's too much for your right hand, you can actually play that G with your left hand. So with your left hand, you would be doing E, B, E, D, and G with the left hand if you can reach it. Okay, so it's whatever's the most comfortable. But I'm playing from left to right: E, D, G, B flat, D, G flat, and A. All right, nice colorful chord. Okay, all right, so let me show you what I did there. All right, now moving chord progression wise, at first I only changed the E to A natural, okay, which is kind of dissonant, and then I move like this. Okay, which is G, E, B flat, D flat, E, and A natural. Okay, now this right here, this is a little thing that I do a lot, and this could be very powerful if you use it the right way. Whenever you have a diminished chord, and I spoke a little bit about this last week, but whenever you have a diminished chord, you always can play a whole step above whatever your top note is, and that'll give you a nice little flavor. Okay, for example, I'm playing a G diminished chord. Okay, so if I were to play it in root position, it would simply be G, B flat, D flat, and E natural. Okay, this would be diminished. Now what you can do, whatever your top note is of your diminished seventh chord, you can move it up a whole step and get a real nice flavor. Okay, now in the example, in the chord that I'm playing, it's almost as if my top note was the note G. Okay, and what I did was I put a whole step above that. So instead of G, we go up 2 half steps. Let's count. 1, 2. Okay, two half steps is a whole step. Just 2 keys. Okay, so now I have, okay, and basically that's what I did. Okay, and it gives you a real nice color on your diminished chords. Okay, I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody's question. I just want to refresh here so I can make sure if anybody has a question, I'm answering that. Okay, so it's very helpful. It's a nice nice little flavor that you can add to your diminished chord. So let me give you an example again. Okay, say for example my top note was the E. All right, how would I do it then? I would take the E and move it to what? A whole step up or to the right, which would be 2 keys, which would be that. Okay, what if my let's invert the chord. Okay, this is still G diminished. I'm just inverting. Okay, now if C sharp or D flat is my top note, how would we move that up a whole step? And what would we move it to? The C sharp would go up to the D sharp or the E flat here. Okay, so that's something that you can experiment with. You can play around with that sound to really add a nice little flavor to your diminished chords. Okay, so let me go back to that section of the song. All right. Okay. Okay, this is where we were. Now this is the G diminished with the whole step on the top, the little trick I showed you. Okay. And then we go here. Okay. That's somewhat of the diminished thing again. Notice if C was my top note, I would just simply move that up a whole step. So I'm doing it again there. Okay. Now I do have a bass note of D, which almost makes that like a D dominant 7 flat 9, but it's very similar to a diminished chord. All right, then we go back to the G minor 7. All right, and we just simply move the G here to F. Okay, and I took this F out. Okay, so I move from G, D, F, B flat, D, F, B flat to right hand stays the same and the left hand moves to F and D. And then we do this. Okay. This is simply just a C, F, A triad. Okay. And then we go down a half step like that. C, F, A, moving to B, E, A flat. All right, to an E major chord, E, B, B, E, A flat. Okay? Now, what I'm doing with my left hand, this is another common thing that many musicians do and that you can do as well, is to play perfect fifths with your left hand. Now, it's very, very standard. It's very common, but it also gives you a nice warmth and a nice bottom to your chords. You can use that for major chords. You can use it for minor chords. You can use it for dominant 7 chords. You can use it for suspended 7 chords. Any chord that has a 1 and a 5 in it, you can play that perfect fifth interval. And an interval is just a space between notes. So it's a perfect fifth, 1 and 5. And you can do that in any key. So I would recommend practicing that in every key as well. Okay, that's moving up a half step. Okay, so I'm practicing, okay, the fifths in every key. Okay, it would be good to practice them in fourths as well. Way to practice it, and then you can incorporate whatever chord you want to play with it. So now let's try incorporating the major triad with those perfect fifth intervals with the left hand. All right, so it would sound like this. Where we started. Okay, so I practiced that in a circle of fourths. All right, and then you can take it even further where you can do different types of chords using that type of foundation with your left hand. So now let's try to do a major 2 chord, okay, which would sound like this. Okay, and then I could keep going. Now, and what I'm trying to get you to do is I'm trying to model for you when you find something that you like or you feel that is helpful or is good for your playing, to practice it in every key, so that way you'll be completely free to do it whenever you want to do it. Okay? All right, so let's keep moving. Okay, so we go here. So this is the E major chord, E, B, then B again, E, A flat, and then we go to the E flat dominant 7 over A flat. All right, now this is A suspended ninth, A, G with the left hand. The right hand is B, D, E, A. And then we go here to A dominant 7 flat 9. And the chord is A, G, B flat, C sharp, E, G. And then we go back to the D minor 7 chord. And then it does this. Okay, let me break that down for you. So I'm just sliding from the B flat up to the C using grace notes or half steps. And then back to the B flat, and then I do a little turn like that. A, B flat, A, G, A. But I do it very quickly, like that. Okay. Now with my left hand, I'm doing this. Okay. So with the left hand, I'm playing F, A natural, B flat, and D. Okay. And then we move like this. So we start here, left hand is on C, right hand is on F. And then the C moves up to C sharp, and the F moves down to E like that. So, okay, and I slide or play grace notes like that. So I'm sliding from the B like that. And I'm doing the same thing on the E to the F. Okay, so it's like I'm doing that. All right, then we move like this. Okay, so left hand is A flat, right hand is D, and then the A flat moves up to A, and the D moves down to D flat or C sharp. Okay. So again, it's doing this. All right, and that's when the actual choir comes in. Okay. Now, the chord is D, A, F, A, D, F. Okay. Now, when I get here, I actually somewhat take, or I try to take somewhat of a classical piano type of approach, where I try to incorporate a classical kind of style. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. Okay. All right. So let me explain to you what I'm doing. So once I got here, okay. Now this is the G dominant 7 chord over B natural. Now with my left hand, I'm playing B, F, and B natural again. And then with my right hand, I'm playing D, G, B. Okay, so okay, and what I'm doing is I'm playing somewhat of a leading melody type thing with my right hand, like that. So G, A, and then we play the chord. So like this. Okay, so I'm playing G, A, then the chord, which is D, G, B. So G, D, B, and then I go to the next chord. Okay, so okay, then we go to this chord right here, which is C major. And notice with my left hand, I'm playing that 1, 5th, 10 structure with my left hand. And then with my right hand, I'm playing E, G, C. Okay? Like that. Okay? That's kind of like a little classical flavor. Okay, now what I'm doing is this. Let me break it down for you, that little run that I did. Now I'm playing F, E, F, G, A. So I'm doing F, E, F, G, A, then, all right. So F, E, F, G, A, C, F, A, C. Okay, and I'm just arpeggiating the actual chord. Okay, and arpeggiating means to play the chord one note at a time. That's what an arpeggio is when you take the notes of the chord and you play them one at a time as opposed to all at the same time. That's what an arpeggio is. And I'm arpeggiating the actual chord. Okay, so that's one way that you can approach your chords, is to arpeggiate them or create arpeggios. And you can create a classical flavor doing that. You can even create a jazzy flavor doing that. Okay, and I'll talk a little bit about that in just a second. But right here, I'm trying to create somewhat of a classical flavor. So okay, C, F, A, C, and then I go here, B flat, A, B flat, setting me up for the next chord, which is a B flat major chord. So all right, and the notes are now with my left hand, I'm simply playing A, F, and G, which is actually the second of the F major chord. Okay, we talked about adding the second tone to your major chords on last week, and so that's kind of what I'm doing here. Okay, and then we go here, which is B flat major, and I'm doing all of this with my left hand. So I'm playing B flat, D, F, and B flat. I'm doing all of that with my right hand. Excuse me, I'm doing all of that with my left hand, excuse me. And that frees me up to be able to play the little melody lines with my right hand. So all of this is with my right hand. Okay, while I'm chording this with my left hand. Okay, so it goes really without saying that the more flexible you are with your left hand, the more freed up you will be to do things with your right hand. So it would be very beneficial to practice doing things with your left hand, just to develop that flexibility and the strength in your left hand. Now, most people are right-handed, so most people are naturally stronger with their right hand. So you'll see most people being more dominant with the way they play with their right hand. But technically speaking, you really should be able to do with your left hand almost anything you can do with your right hand. Okay? And so I would encourage you to practice on that, to practice playing Okay, so I did all of that with my left hand, and I was just demonstrating that to show you that you want to practice playing nice, full, and rich chords with your left hand by itself, and that will really develop and train your left hand to be very flexible, so that way you can do more things with your right hand. Now, when you're able to do that, that really opens the door now to improvisation and soloing and things like that. That way your left hand is covering the chords while your right hand is free to play a solo or to play melodies or embellishments. So okay, so what I was trying to do was show you that when I was covering the majority of the chords with my left hand, it gave me more flexibility and freedom to do more things with my right hand. Okay, now I spoke about arpeggiating the chord. Now let me demonstrate that a little bit more. Arpeggiating the chord, okay, and when it comes to arpeggiating a chord, you basically can do that on any chord you want to do it on. So say, for example, I wanted to play an arpeggio on this A dominant 7 flat 9 chord. Okay, and the notes are A, E, G, B flat, and C. Okay, and then I just have an E doubled here and a G doubled there. But in essence, we only have A, E, G, B flat, and C sharp. Okay. Now, if I want to arpeggiate that, I simply play those same notes, and I keep moving up. Like that. Now, I can include this A, or I can leave the A out. Okay. Now, if I leave the A out, I'm going to only be arpeggiating these notes right here. Okay, which would sound like this. Keep going. Keep going. Now, if I included the A, it would be more like this. Okay, which will really give you a real nice, mysterious, dissonant cluster type of sound. Okay, and so that's really an arpeggio, and you can really do it with any chord you want. Now, let me give you an example of a different one. Now, okay, and we go here to this chord, which is D7, sharp 5, sharp 9. Say, for example, I want to do an arpeggio on this one. D, F sharp, B flat, C, F natural. I would simply take the notes and arpeggiate them. Arpeggiate them, like there. Now, when I'm on the piano, I like to take arpeggios and sustain the notes of the chord to make it sound more smooth, okay? Like this. So I will possibly, sometimes I'll hold down the bass note and then do it. Okay, and it gives you a nice, cool sound. Sometimes I will even do it to where I am trying to do it in rhythm with the actual song itself. So when I'm doing that, I have to do the arpeggio quickly. So I have to come up with a fingering that allows me to do the arpeggio quickly, like this. Okay? Let's see if I can get a little cleaner. All right. Now, what am I doing? How am I doing that? Let me explain to you the way that I'm playing this. Okay? All right, now, to break it down, and I'm just giving you an example of how you can approach your arpeggios. This is a little thing that I do, a little trick that I do, is when I identify what the notes of my chord is, and I figure out what notes I want to arpeggiate, I will use both my hands. And generally what I will do, say for example, if the chord has 4 notes in it, I will play one note with my left hand and then the remainder of the notes with my right hand. And the reason I do that is because I play the first note of the arpeggio with my left hand, then the remainder of the notes with my right hand. But while I'm playing the remainder of the notes, I'm setting up my left hand to go back to the first note of the next octave. So it's like, say for example, I have 4 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So right before I get to that 4th note, I'm taking my left hand and getting ready to hit that first note again, just an octave above that. So that way it doesn't sound like a big gap in the actual arpeggio, okay? Let me demonstrate it, all right, and tell you what I'm doing. So I'm playing the F sharp with my left hand, okay? Now, the B flat, the C, and the F, I'm doing that all with my right hand. So F sharp with the left hand, B flat, C, F with the right hand, okay? So when I put it together, it sounds like this. Okay, so it's real smooth. You can't really hear that I'm using separate hands, all right? F sharp is with the left, the other 3 are with the right. Okay, now watch this. Now, let me tell you what I'm doing. When I hit the C, my left hand is already getting in position to play this F sharp. So even before I get to the F, my left hand is almost already in position to play the F sharp. So that way it could be a smooth, okay? And then now my left hand is on the F sharp just up here. And now I'm going to take my right hand and move it back in position to where now I'm playing B flat, C, and F up here. Okay, I hope y'all are seeing the the principle of what I'm doing. Then left hand crosses over, right hand comes in, and then we keep moving like that. And all the while holding down my sustain pedal. Okay? Okay, so if I was trying to play that in time or within a certain particular amount of time to stay with the song, that's one little thing you can do technically with your hands or with fingerings to help you play arpeggios faster or even cleaner too, okay? So it's real similar to the beginning of the song, okay? And then we're going to modulate. All right, now I'm playing B flat dominant 7 sharp 5 sharp 9, and with my left hand I'm playing B flat, D, A flat. Okay, now I do that a lot when I'm playing a dominant 7 chord. That's a nice little structure that I play with my left hand. The root, 3rd, flat 7. I encourage you to practice that. Root, 3rd, flat 7. Do it in every key. Alright. That's going up a half step. Going up a half step. Okay, and I could keep going, or you could practice it in 4ths. Root, 3rd, flat 7. Root, 3rd, flat 7. Root, 3rd, flat 7. Root, 3rd, flat 7. Then root, 3rd, flat 7. Root, 3rd, flat 7. And then you can keep going like that. So that's a good thing to practice on with your left hand. Okay? And we modulate. Alright, so it's a B flat dominant 7 sharp 5 sharp 9 chord. The left hand is B flat, D, A flat. Right hand is C sharp, F sharp, B flat. Alright, and then we go here. Alright, and this is just simply an E flat minor chord. And I'm playing it like a broken chord. A broken chord is when you take the notes of the chord and you approach it like that. So these are the notes of the chord: E flat, B flat, E flat. Excuse me, E flat, B flat, F sharp, E flat, F sharp, or G flat, B flat, E flat. And okay, I'm playing it from left to right. Okay, I call that rolling the chord or a broken chord. Now what I'm doing here is G flat and E flat, A flat and F, B flat and G flat, okay? And before I go on, I'm going to check for any questions. Okay, I hope you all are following me pretty well. Okay, all right, I have a question from Nikki. Nikki, the question is, do you say arpeggiate the next chord, the chord you're going to? Okay, that's a good question. You really want, and to be honest about it, you really could do either one. You can arpeggiate, when you're trying to use the arpeggios, you can arpeggiate the chord that you're aiming for, or the one that is preceding that or right before that. And what I would say, Nikki, mainly is you want to be time conscious. And what I mean by that is, do you have enough time to play an arpeggio on the chord that's before your main chord? A lot of times those chords are what you will call passing chords, and many times you don't have a lot of time on those chords, so you may not be able to do it on a passing chord, but on a main chord you can. Now, not to say you can do it on a passing chord, but you have to be conscious of the amount of time that you have, because you don't want to miss those main chords within the song. So to answer your question, you can do it on the chord before your main chord or on the actual chord itself. Okay, and I hope that's answering your question. Okay, Daniel had a question. Please give some finger warm-ups to make us run the keyboard faster. Okay, I will definitely do that. All right. Now, if you have a question, please feel free to put that in the comment box, and I will definitely try to answer your question. Okay. All right. So let's get back to this key right here, and then okay. Okay, D flat, G flat, B flat, B flat, E flat, and G flat. Okay, and then we simply go to B major 9, okay? B major 9. All right, which is B, E flat, F sharp, B flat, C sharp, E flat, and F sharp, okay? All right, Daniel, I'm gonna go ahead and answer your question now about finger exercises, okay? Now, I'm gonna teach you all the finger exercises that I do personally to try to stay loose, okay? And before I demonstrate them, let me say this. You have to somewhat approach your playing as if you're an athlete, okay? And what I mean by that, say for example, you're a runner, okay? Now, before runners, they run a race, what do? They stretch, they warm up, they get loose, they try to do all of these different things physically so that when they run, they don't have anything hindering them physically. And so you have to somewhat think of it like that when it comes to you playing as well, because guess what? Your fingers have muscles in them that will get tight. Sometimes if you don't work them out, they can get weak in certain fingers. And you'll notice that there are certain fingers on your hands that are actually stronger than other fingers, okay? I don't know if you ever noticed it before, but on your hands, your fourth finger is usually a little weaker than the thumb, next finger, and many times the little finger is not as strong, okay? And when it comes to playing licks and runs and things like that, you really need all of your fingers strong enough to do whatever it is that you need to do. Okay, so I just did a little demonstration of like a little jazz improv, but the reason I was able to play those lines with my right hand is because I've taken time over the years to develop my fingers and the muscles in my fingers and fingerings as well by doing certain exercises. So I'm going to teach you the exercises that I do personally to just try to stay loose, to try to keep my fingers strong so that I'm flexible and I can do the things that I want to try to do, okay? All right, now this is how I start off. The first 5 notes of the major chord. Now I'm going to do this with my right hand. Okay? That's a very standard exercise, but the key is this. Every note has its own finger. First note, second note, third note, fourth note, fifth note. Okay, so ba da ba 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 ba. Okay, and the key is I'm using every finger. I'm not skipping any fingers. I'm not skipping that finger. I'm not skipping that finger. I'm using every finger in that exercise. Da 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 ba 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 ba. And then likewise with my left hand. Okay, I don't know how it's showing on your screen, but I'm holding up my left hand now. And with my left hand, it would sound like this. And I started the left hand with actually my pinky or my small finger. Okay, dun 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 dun, like that. Okay, and so it actually looks like this. If I can get both my hands in the shot, it looks like this. Dun 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 bum 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 bum. Okay, and then we put both hands together like this. Okay, real simple, but it really does help. Okay, so in the course of me practicing, I would practice it like this. Okay, and then what I would do is go up a half step and do it in the next key. So I did that in the key of C. Now I'll go up to the key of D flat. Using the same fingering, okay, not skipping any fingers. Every note has its own finger, okay? And I don't move away from that. And the point is you're trying to evenly and equally exercise each finger evenly. That's very important. And that's what's going to benefit you the most with that, because you're going to be working out the muscles of each finger evenly. And that's what you want. So now, and then we go to the next key. Same thing. Okay? And this will help you learn your scales as well. Okay, that's E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B natural, back to C. Okay, so that's one of the first things that I do. Now let me show you something else that I do. This helps to build dexterity and flexibility. Is this. Now I'm going to keep the same fingering. Each finger has its own note. Every note has its own finger. All right, but we're going to move like this. Okay, let me do it again. So I'm playing the notes 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, 2, 1. I just said the notes of the actual scale, but the fingering is not changing. Okay, in terms of what note goes to what finger. Da da bum 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 bum. And then with my left hand, it would be dum bum 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 bum. And then we put them together. Like that. And then we go to the next key. Then we go to the next key. Okay. Now you may be thinking, well, Kenneth, you know, that's not really a big deal to me. You know, I'm not really a runner and all of that. But this is what I learned, and this is the interesting thing about it. The stronger your hands are and the more you work on exercises, the cleaner you're going to be even with playing chords. That's the amazing thing about it. Because when you practice on exercises, finger exercises, it not only helps you with playing runs and licks, but it also helps you in being even more accurate and clean when you play your chords too. So doing this, it really does help you in a lot of ways. And I really learned that through experience. And I was working on trying to get more flexible and develop speed for licks and runs and things like that. But I also noticed that my chords were getting a lot cleaner. And I was trying to figure out what I was doing, and then it dawned on me, it's coming from the exercises. And so this helps all the way around. It really does, okay? So I would then put those two together like this. And then I shift like this. And then next key. Next key. Next key. And then I keep moving up all 12 keys like that. And that really strengthens your fingers individually, okay? All right. Let me make sure I don't have any other questions before I keep going. Okay, I really appreciate your questions. Okay, all right, now let me give you a few more finger exercises to develop speed and flexibility. All right, now this is something that a teacher taught me years ago in college to help to develop improvisation and to develop independence with both hands, okay? And now I normally do this, I try to do this in every key, but tonight I'm going to teach you just in one key. I'm going to teach you in the key of C major, okay? And what it is, you actually play chords with the left hand while playing the scale with your right hand. Okay? You play the scale with your right hand while chording with your left hand, and it looks like this. Okay, now let me show you first what I'm doing with my left hand. Okay, I'm playing C major 7, and I'm just ascending the chord. So every note of the chord goes up to the next note in the scale. So C moves to D, E moves to F, G moves to A, B moves to C. So everything just shifted over one to the right. And then we do that again. Everything shifts over, shifts over, shifts over, shifts over, shifts over, back to where we started from. So okay, and this will be good to develop your left hand in playing chords as well. But while you're doing that, you can play this with your right hand. Okay, I'm playing that with my right hand. And then what you do is once you get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you go up one more. And then you descend. And then start right there. Go up one more. Okay? And you can somewhat follow your chords with your left hand and let you know where you should be. So we're going to start on C. And notice where my chords are when I'm doing this. All right? C. Then D. We're coming back down. Then E, F, G, A, B. Now I'm going to move backwards . Okay, and then I can end like that. And what it is just a way for you to practice on playing lines with your right hand while playing corresponding chords with your left hand. See, that's important. It's not just playing runs and licks with your right hand, but you do need to be playing corresponding type chords or runs and chords that work together. And this is one way to do that. So this is an exercise that I practice on to just getting used to doing that. Now, if I were to do it in a different key, it would look like this. Now this is D flat, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just in the next key, okay? And I'm ascending to the next note of the major scale. Okay, and then this is the D flat major scale. So when I put it together, it would sound like this. Now I'm going to start from this top note and work my way down and move like that. So let's put it in context. Next key, and so I hope you see this is my approach, and the way I try to practice when I learn something, I try to do it in every key. And what that does is it eliminates that key is hard to play in, but this one is easy. No key is any harder or easier than the other. It's just the keys we spend more time in. Now sometimes things may feel a little differently or may feel a little bit more awkward in one key than another simply just because of positioning. But in terms of difficulty, there's no such thing as a easy or a hard key. They're all the same if you will practice evenly or in a balanced way. Okay, so I encourage you to do that. Okay, so hopefully Daniel, that gave you some ideas of some ways that you can practice. Okay, all right, so now let's go on further with the song. Now this is something that I do quite a bit. Okay, is where I would actually take a note in the chord and play half steps leading to that particular note, okay, just as a little musical expression. Because the chord is this that I'm playing, okay, which is actually a rootless voicing. The whole chord would actually be F sharp, E, B flat, E flat, A flat, but I'm leaving the F sharp off and just playing this, which makes it a rootless voicing. Okay, it doesn't have the root, so it's a rootless voicing. And what I did was I was aiming for the E, and I did this. Okay, I could have started on the G. I could have started on the A flat. So as far as you want to, as long as you hit that E or the note that you're going for on the right note or on the downbeat of wherever you're trying to play that chord. Okay. Here it is. Okay, so I actually started on A flat that time, and I changed the rhythm up a little bit, and I was aiming for that downbeat. Bam, right there. Okay, because that's where the chord hits. Okay, so that's something that you can do to add a little bit more flavor to your playing. Okay. Okay. And then we move like this. All right, that's that minor 7 flat 5 with a 9 and an 11 in it. I'm going to break that down for you, but let me give you the walk down. All right, walk down is B natural, F sharp. Right hand is B flat, E flat. And then we move like this. Left hand is B flat. right hand is A flat, C sharp, F. Okay, and then left hand is A flat, right hand is F sharp, B natural, E flat, F sharp. And then we go here. Left hand is F sharp, C sharp, right hand is A flat, B flat, C sharp, F, A flat. So now notice, and I'm playing those chord rips or those broken chords on each one. I'm not just saying, now I could, but to make it a little bit more expressive, okay? And then if I'm following the pattern, and da da ba ba ba, that would be the next note. And the chord would probably, if I was just playing it in a standard way, probably would be something like that. Okay, but that's not what I did. I did this. Okay, I was going for something a little bit fatter. Okay, let me break it down slowly. B natural, B flat, E flat, next chord, B flat, A flat, C sharp, F, A flat, F sharp, B, E flat, F sharp. Okay, then F sharp, C sharp, A flat, B flat, C sharp, F, A flat. Now, if I'm moving fast now, I always know that you can go back and watch the replay so you won't miss anything. Then we go here to this chord. All right, F natural, E flat, and A flat with the left hand. That's a nice little stretch. And then with the right hand, I'm playing B, E flat, G flat. So, okay, and it's a little thing that I like to do, a little run on this chord, which is this. Okay. All right, now let me show you what that is. So, all right, let me break it down for you. Real simple. It's actually doing this. B flat, G, A flat, B flat, B natural. Okay. Now let me show you how I'm playing this. Once I get to the B natural, my thumb is on the B natural, and then next finger on E flat, next finger on G, next finger on B flat. Now that's important, so that way you can play it with a comfortable finger. Okay, once you do this, and I'll tell you the fingers that I'm using. I'm using my third finger on the B flat, thumb on the G, second finger on the A flat, third finger on the B flat, and then I land on the B natural with my thumb. Okay, so again, thumb is right there, then next finger, which is the second finger, next finger, which is the third finger, next finger, which is the fourth finger. Okay, here we go. All right, now I'm on this B flat, and what I'm going to do is go to this G again here with my thumb, and then A flat, second finger, B flat, third finger, and then thumb again on the B, and we just keep repeating like that. So if you can remember, your thumb is going to hit G and B every time. Your thumb is going to hit G and B every time. Now, not on this G, but when you start over, it'll hit G right there, okay? Okay? And then we go here. That's a little run I love to do. Then we go here, B flat, D, A flat, A flat, F, B flat, D, F, B flat. All right, this is actually E flat major, add 2 over G. Left hand is G, E flat, F, B flat, E flat, F, B flat. Okay, side stepping, I talked about that last week. Okay, where I'm playing G, C, and E flat. All right, left hand is B flat and A flat. Right hand is A flat, C sharp, and E. And I simply started a half step below that on G, C, E flat, moving up to that. E flat, G, C sharp, G, E flat. E flat, C sharp, and then A flat, E flat, F sharp, B, E flat, F sharp, B. Okay, and then everything stays the same except for the F sharp, and then we do this: C sharp, F sharp, B flat, and then we go to F major chord right here. A, E flat, F, C, F, A. Okay. B flat suspended ninth, B flat, A flat, C, E flat, B flat. Okay, we resolve it. B flat, D, A flat, C, D, B flat. And then I'm going to go ahead and end it right here. Okay, E flat, B flat, E flat. B flat, E flat, A flat, and then the A flat moves down to the G, okay? All right, and so that's the song For Every Mountain. That's why I praise you by Kurt Carr. And so I wanted to show you some concepts using that song. Now what I'm going to do with your MIDI files, I'm also going to include this song with it, and it'll be sent out on this week. So you're going to get 5 more MIDI files this week, as well as a foundation video that you're going to get this week teaching about chords. So I'm going to be teaching you a foundation of chords, so that on next week we're going to really dive deeper into chords and how to structure them and understanding them and how to really create nice voicings. We're going to do that next week, along with some more songs and things too. So before we end our session today, I want to find out if we have any questions, any more questions. I really do appreciate the questions that we've received so far. Okay. All right. I don't see any more questions as of yet, but you also, even after our live session, or even for anybody that will see this video after the live session, you still can ask questions. You can actually put your question in the comment box and submit it, and I will go back and try to read those. And if it's a question that I can answer, I definitely will be more than happy to do so. Okay? All right. Well, we're out of time. We kind of ran over today, but I wanted to finish some of those things that I was talking about. And so I encourage you to learn even what I taught you tonight in terms of the song. And I'm going to also, like I mentioned, send out a MIDI file so that you can learn the remainder of the modulations. The song actually modulates a few more times so that you can learn that as well, and learn the voicings and things that I'm using in this particular song. Also, those of you all that may be joining this week, I challenged everyone on last week to learn the 2 songs that we addressed on last week, and to record yourself playing them, upload them to YouTube, and then email them to me to kennyhollins@yahoo.com. That's KennyHollins@yahoo.com. I would love to hear and see you playing that. Okay? All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and sign off for this evening. I want to thank you for joining me, and I'm going to be definitely touching bases with each one of you all on this week, and I'm going to be sending out more material. And so make sure you reach out to me, send me an email if you have any questions or comments, and I definitely will get back with you as soon as possible. All right. Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed our session for this evening, and look forward to working with you this week as well. All right. You be blessed.